One of the biggest mistakes many men make is making permanent decisions during temporary versions of themselves. That's the problem. Because a lot of young men don't fully understand their value yet, not because they have no value, but because their value hasn't fully developed. And nobody really explains this clearly. When you're young, especially in your late teens and early 20s, you often judge yourself based on your current position, your money, your confidence, your social status, your attention from women, your lifestyle, your appearance, your current success. But what many men fail to realize is a man's value often compounds later through discipline, competence, experience, consistency, emotional control, leadership, and purpose. Those things take time to build. That's why many men in their early 20s feel insecure without understanding why. You haven't fully become who you're capable of becoming yet, but instead of building patiently, many young men start making emotional decisions trying to escape insecurity. That's dangerous because insecurity makes people chase validation, attention, approval, temporary pleasure, status, relationships, escapism, and modern culture constantly feeds this. Everything around you tells you you need to prove yourself immediately. So young men start comparing themselves constantly. Who has more money? Who gets more attention? Who looks more successful? Who's ahead socially? And comparison creates panic. That's why so many men rush their lives, rush relationships, rush commitment, rush status, rush identity, without fully understanding themselves first. And honestly, a lot of men end up tied to decisions made during their least disciplined phase. That's painful because your 20s are often emotionally unstable years. You're still learning who you are, what matters, what kind of life you want, what environments help you grow, what distractions destroy you. But many men move through those years emotionally instead of intentionally. And later, they realize, I was building my life based on temporary feelings. That realization hits hard because life compounds, your decisions compound, your habits compound, your relationships compound, and one emotional decision can shape decades. That's why wise older men often tell younger men, focus on building yourself first. Not because relationships are bad, not because success is everything, but because becoming stable changes your decision-making completely. A disciplined man thinks differently than a distracted man. A purposeful man chooses differently than an insecure man. An emotionally grounded man sees red flags differently than a validation-hungry man. That's maturity, and honestly, many young men don't yet understand how much potential they actually have, because potential is invisible early. When you're still struggling, still learning, still uncertain, it's easy to underestimate yourself. You start settling emotionally because you don't yet see where your life could go. But later, when discipline compounds, everything changes. Your confidence changes, your standards change, your environment changes, your opportunities change because you changed. That's why some men look completely different between 25 and 35, not just physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually, because real masculine growth often happens through struggle and responsibility. Pressure builds men differently, but many young men never reach that version of themselves because they become trapped by distractions too early. Comfort, chaos, bad habits, emotionally destructive relationships, lack of discipline, and distractions are expensive because they steal years silently. That's the dangerous part. You usually don't realize how much time you wasted until later. That's why intentional men protect their future aggressively, because they understand today's emotional decisions can become tomorrow's permanent consequences. And honestly, one of the biggest traps for young men is thinking life is only about what feels good right now. But short-term thinking destroys long-term potential. Everything that matters takes time. Strength takes time. Respect takes time. Financial stability takes time. Wisdom takes time. Leadership takes time. And modern culture makes patience difficult. Everybody wants immediate validation now. Immediate success, immediate attention, immediate results. But real growth is usually slower than people expect. That's why many men feel lost during transition periods, especially in their late 20s. Because your late 20s often become an uncomfortable awakening phase. You start realizing some people were distractions, some habits were destructive, some environments were limiting, some relationships were draining, some goals weren't even yours. That's a painful realization. But it's also the beginning of maturity because eventually you stop trying to impress everybody and start trying to build something meaningful. That changes everything. You become more selective with your time, more intentional with your energy, more disciplined with your habits, more careful with who you allow close to you. Because now you understand your future has value and valuable things require protection. That's why emotionally mature men move differently. Not because they think they're better than other people, but because they finally understand their life has direction now, and direction changes behavior. You stop entertaining everything. You stop chasing every opportunity, every relationship, every distraction, every emotional impulse, because now you understand. Focus creates leverage. And honestly, many men never fully become who they could have become because they spent too many years reacting emotionally instead of building intentionally. That's the real tragedy, not failure. Wasted potential. Because wasted potential is painful to live with, especially once you realize you are capable of far more. That's why self-awareness matters so much, because awareness changes decisions, and decisions shape your future. So if you're still young, understand this. You do not need to rush your life. You do not need to panic because you haven't made it yet. Your value is still developing, but that development requires discipline, patience, focus, consistency, intentional living. Because who you become later is being shaped by what you repeatedly do now. And one day, you'll either thank your younger self or spend years recovering from him. That's the reality. So maybe the goal isn't to prove yourself quickly. Maybe the goal is to build yourself properly. Because once a man truly understands his value, he starts protecting his future differently. And honestly, that changes everything. If this made you rethink where your life is heading, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.